If you're like me, you remember Smokey the Bear's familiar phrase, "Only you can prevent forest fires." But there's another well-known phrase, "Fight fire with fire." And that one regularly leads foresters into the woods to intentionally set fires. Today on Simply Southern, we're going to learn why they burn. On average, it takes 30 years from the time they're planted for pine trees to reach maturity. But while the trees are growing, so is a lot of other stuff that forest owners don't necessarily want.
All trees in forests, like all plants, are competing for sunlight, nutrients, and water. And by removing some of the competition, some of your dominant trees are going to be able to thrive and grow a whole lot more effectively. So instead of having this brushy, nasty stuff that you don't want to walk through and you have all this competition, you've got your big, best pines and trees that are allowed to grow because we've killed off using the fire.
Robert Knowles and his wife Alice of Opelika inherited about 100 acres of timber a few years ago, and they're still learning how to properly manage their property.
It's never been burned, and we got a lot of debris and all the undergrowth that's hard to walk through, hard to get through. You know, it's about time to clean up, make it where it grow better and for the wildlife and everything like that.
While the fire destroys the underbrush, a prescribed burn's not allowed to get hot enough to damage older trees. Some folks worry about the wildlife, but experts say they actually benefit from the fire too.
The wildlife is very adapted to fire. They can move, they can get out of the way of the fire, and they can come back through here. Wildlife are going to thrive because when you burn, you allow the natural grasses and forbs to come up so they have better foraging material come spring and summertime. So they're going to be very good with that. And it's also clear so they can move through the woods a whole lot better. So that's what's so great about the fire.
Foresters say a good example of what can happen when land is not managed properly is last year's wildfires in California, which burned well over 4 million acres and caused 31 deaths.
One of the huge benefits is to remove the fuel layer. The fires out in California have a really thick duff, have a lot of fuel that are on the ground. And so if we can remove that fuel by doing a prescribed fire, then if a fire does happen, there's not going to be a large fuel load, so we can't have a fire big enough that tears up the forest. We do it every year, and it creates a nice landscape. It's beautiful to look at. It's great for the wildlife, and it's great for forestry.
The Alabama Forestry Association conducts these Learn and Burn events throughout the year. They welcome anyone who wants to learn more about prescribed burns to attend, from well-seasoned foresters to new landowners, even TV hosts. But the goal's not just to set fires, it's to make the land more beautiful and more productive.
Something for the family through the years, and also make it income producing in a way other than just sitting there, not being managed or doing anything, that just letting it turn back to woods without any profitability into the wildlife.
Joining us now to talk more about prescribed burns is William Green, the Director of the Forestry Division at the Alabama Farmers Federation.
Hey, glad to be back with y'all.
We sure appreciate you coming in and talking to us today. So how important are these prescribed burns?
Prescribed burns are really important for Alabama and the Southeast for two main reasons. First, it really helps control the amount of fuel load on the ground. Fuel load would be your flammable forest litter. If that isn't controlled, we really run into some disastrous wildfire issues like our neighbors out in California are seeing. Secondly, from a historical perspective, our native ecosystems have evolved with fire. Historically, most of Alabama was covered in a longleaf pine savanna that thrived on fire caused by lightning strikes.
Very interesting. Now, how often does land need to be burned, and is there a time of year that's best to do it?
Land burns or prescribed burns are really dependent on what the landowner's objectives are, whether that's managing for wildlife habitat or controlling understory in a mature timber stand. It really can be done any time of the year in Alabama, but most people think of early to late spring as fire season.
So if we have a landowner who happens to be watching today and is considering burning a forest, what are your recommendations?
First and foremost, I recommend talking to the Alabama Forestry Commission. Your county office can help issue you a burn permit for your property. Second, I recommend talking to your neighbors, let them know what's going on so they're not nervous. Safety is really, really important when you're doing a control burn.
William Green with the Alabama Farmers Federation. Thank you for coming in and clearing some of this up for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Now next, Stacy Little of SouthernBite.com is known for taking ordinary items and creating something truly extraordinary.
And he's about to do it again when he shows us how to make ham, egg, and cheese waffle witches.
There's nothing quite like sitting down to a home-cooked meal with fresh vegetables from the garden. With Bonnie plants from your local quality co-op store, you can enjoy the freshest vegetables right from your own backyard. And no matter if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, your quality co-op store has exactly what you need to get the most out of your plants. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
Tim, what's it like being a professional fisherman?
Oh, it's awesome, man. You get all kind of perks, like that check y'all seeing, that big check I get every year,
Why are you whispering?
I ain't gonna tell nobody, I promise, man.
Tim,
It's between us.
I want you to tell everybody you know. Yeah, we're sending back $10.8 million this year.
How much?
10.8. Not all of it's yours.
So it ain't just to me?
No, it ain't just you.
Come on, man.
Everybody that's got a loan with Alabama Farm Credit gets a check.
If you need health insurance for any reason, February 15th through May 15th is a special enrollment period. While understanding your health insurance options isn't always easy, the experts at Alpha Health can help. They can even assist you in applying for subsidies to cover a portion of the cost. Plus, Alpha Health can help you sign up for a Medicare supplement and Part D prescription drug plans. Call Alpha Health at 800-392-5705.
For more Simply Southern, follow us on social media. And while you're online, visit our website, simplysouthern.tv.net. Simply Southern continues in a moment.
Sweet Grown Alabama is such an amazing brand. It'll be great for consumers to be able to connect immediately with an Alabama grown or made product.
Sweet Grown Alabama, what it means to us is community. By buying Sweet Grown Alabama, you are able to support your community and kind of play your part and help the farmers.
There's a huge advantage just to your local community by buying local, whether it's local farms or local businesses.
Find Sweet Grown Alabama farms, markets, restaurants, and stores near you at sweetgrownalabama.org.